it's Daisy. We are in the grocery store. I am cooking meatloaf, cabbage, macaroni and cheese, and mashed potatoes today with Hawaiian rolls. So we are in the grocery store doing our grocery shopping. And I'm filming on my phone. It's just been, since I had my surgery, it's just been easier for me to film on my phone than carrying my camera around, just because I have to get myself from point A to B, trying to carry myself. So it's just been easier to utilize my phone. But I'm going to check back in with y'all.
I can take a customer down express.
What's up, YouTube? Period. So, today we are making meatloaf, macaroni and cheese. My dad's making the cabbage, mashed potatoes, and then I'm thinking I'm gonna make a strawberry cake. Okay. Let me show y'all my ingredients and stuff. I don't have everything right here with me, but I'm just gonna show y'all what's right here. I have my whipped cream cheese frosting for the cake, which I'm gonna put some fresh strawberries in that. We have some meatloaf seasoning from McCormick. We have some breadcrumbs. We have a bell pepper and an onion. 2 boxes of macaroni and cheese. Y'all gonna see how I spice this up. I'm really giving y'all the drop. And if I'm talking weird, y'all know I just had surgery. I'm sorry. And if I look crusty, ignore it. But y'all gonna see how I spice it up. I'm really giving y'all the drop. Cream of chicken. Brown sugar. 2 boxes of cake mix. Veggie oil. Y'all saw my Hawaiian rolls. And then we have eggs, hamburger, and drinks and stuff like that in the fridge. So we're getting ready to get started. The first thing that I'm gonna do is chop my onions and bell peppers up and get them washed. Well, get my bell pepper clean, and then I'm gonna chop them up, and then we're gonna get them sauteed. So I'll be right back. So we are over at the stove. Someone might ask, why in the world do you have so many veggies in a meatloaf? I'm making 2. So
Daddy likes veggies.
this is just for 2 meatloaves. And it's for extra flavor. All of that is in there. I've dreamed of having my own cooking show for like my whole life, so period. Let me just adjust y'all. Over there is our white potatoes. They are already peeled, clean, and in water. All we have to do is boil them for the mashed potatoes. You can use red potatoes, white potatoes, russet potatoes. And excuse me, these are actually russet potatoes, not white potatoes. But you see we have our onions and peppers just come into a sweat here. And you don't want to caramelize your onions and peppers. You just want to get a nice sweat on them. They're going to cook more once they're in the meatloaf and they're cooking in the oven. You don't want them to still have a crunch or a bite to it, but you do want them just to, like I said, sweat. And what I used in my pan was a little bit of veggie oil. So I will come back once these have completed sweating. All right, y'all, as you can see in my bowl, I have my onions and my peppers. They've already cooked down, sweat down some. What I'm doing now is just allowing it to cool off a little bit. Because we are working with raw meat, and then we also have eggs in here. We don't want our eggs to become scrambled eggs by the heat of these onions and peppers and stuff. So we're just gonna allow it to cool down just a little bit. But while you're waiting on your onions and peppers to cool down, you can gather all of your seasonings.
What's up, y'all? I just wanted to pop in really quickly. I don't know where the footage of me mixing all my hamburger and all my ingredients in together went, but I wanted to pop in as a voiceover and just let you guys know what I utilized. I had a packet of McCormick seasoning meatloaf, some Mrs. Dash Lawry's onion powder, garlic powder, and then Worcestershire sauce. I also had some breadcrumbs. I utilized 2 eggs, and out of the 2 packs of hamburger, I used a pack and a half, and then you just get in there with your hands and mix it all in, and that's about it.
Now we are making our sweet sauce to go on top. Y'all, I still have not got all the way back to myself, my personality and all that stuff. I'm still on heavy medicine, so relax on me. But for the topping, we're doing ketchup, and I just have my bowl right here. And I'm also making extra. So add some onion powder and garlic powder, Worcestershire sauce, and the brown sugar. About a 1/4 cup of brown sugar to about 2 or 3 cups of ketchup. This is what it should look like, almost like barbecue sauce. And for me and my family, I'm just adding a little bit more sugar. Y'all, I pretty much can tell when to stop or when to keep going. And I think that's why me having a cooking show might not have always been the best option. Maybe me having a restaurant would have been better. Because as far as a direct recipe, I can't give it to you all the time. I can tell you the range, but I season and I add without tasting necessarily. And not even just without tasting, but without kind of measuring. So now one thing that I've always found super weird about meatloaf is adding the sauce before the meatloaf is even cooked. You can do either way. I've done both. Well, no. I've always just put my sauce up there and just called it a day and let it cook all together. But I've seen people who let their meatloaf cook and then they add their sauce and then let the sauce marinate in the oven as well. I've just always found it super weird, but I still do it this way. Because why are you putting sauce on raw meat, but it's gonna all cook together, so. And I just cover the top with sauce, and then I leave extra. I don't add like buku sauce. I just add enough to cover the tops, and that's it. So that we can have extra if anybody wants. Once we slice it, if anybody wants any extra sauce to go on top of their meatloaf, they can do so. So I don't do buku sauce to begin with because I always leave extra for people to do what they want with it. And then again, you might not be a sauce person. It's all in your preference. This is what my meatloaf look like. Excuse me, there's one. Here's the other. In the oven, they are getting ready to go. And I'll come back and check in with y'all. All right, y'all, so my potatoes are done and we're getting ready to pull these all together. Nice and tender. I don't know where our legit masher is, so we're gonna use this today, same thing. Just gonna mash. And I keep my mashed potatoes real simple. Don't do too much, don't add too much, don't, you know. Milk, butter, salt, and a little bit of garlic powder. And then I add some sour cream for creaminess. And y'all, I really dislike the little fake potatoes. I really don't like them. I've never liked them all that much. I ain't gonna say they're disgusting, but I just, maybe if you season them right and add enough butter and stuff to it. But I've never really been a big fan. I've always been a fan of like mashing them myself. More work, but it just tastes better. So I'm gonna slowly add some milk. Y'all be careful with adding cold stuff to hot products. You don't want anything to curdle. And you just want to fold it in nice and slow. I'm obviously going to add way more milk than that. But I just needed to make sure that they were nice and smooth right then, just to make sure I got all my lumps and clumps out. I'm going to clean off that. Keep mashing. You'll know when things are nice and creamy and incorporated. While I'm mashing, I'm going to add an entire stick of butter. I have a pretty decent sized pot, so a whole stick is suffice. And while you're mashing, not only is your butter getting nice and incorporated, but it's creating a layer effect of just flavor in there. I think I'm done mashing. And I don't like to mash them too much because it then starts to remind me of the instant potatoes. So we're gonna leave some lumps in there to remind us that this was homemade, babe. So that is that. We're gonna add a bit of salt. Potatoes don't have any flavor, so you want to add a nice bit of salt. More milk. A dab of garlic powder. And if you want to do garlic mashed potatoes, you can just substitute regular butter for garlic butter, or you can do it the way I just did it. Either way works. And then I'm literally, y'all know how they say, do a dollop of daisy. I'm literally doing a dollop of daisy. Just a dollop. And that just creates that creaminess. And you want to be moving while everything is nice and hot, so that the butter melts, so that the sour cream gets in there nice and good. Oh. All right, and that is it, y'all. That is all for the mashed potatoes. Oh yeah, that's nice and velvety and smooth. We're gonna put a lid on this and that's gonna be it. What's up, y'all? I am back. I'm getting ready to do the macaroni and cheese. I've already boiled it, strained it, and it's over there getting cold water rinsed over it. And now we are just, I'm gonna show y'all how I turn boxed macaroni and cheese into that stuff, okay? So we took 2 boxes of macaroni and cheese, boiled it, cooked it, blah, blah, blah. We got us a stick of butter in our pan now. And I'm doing a little bit something different to my recipe this time. My typical recipe is for me to melt a stick of butter, put in the cheese from the box, add some sour cream, add some milk, add some seasoning, add some shredded cheese, mix it all together, put shredded cheese on top. That's it. But I wanted to try something a little different today. I feel like I've seen this or I've heard this. I feel like I've tasted it before, so I just wanted to try it and see what happens. You guys don't have to do this. You can just use the little recipe that I just told you, or everything will be the same. You just leave this ingredient out. But I don't know if my dad already seen it, because I don't want him to say, oh my God, it threw it off or whatever. But he already seen it, so it don't matter. But I am going to put in a little bit of cream of chicken in my macaroni and cheese, and we'll see how it does. So you guys can watch from here. Butter melted down. Got my heat on about 8. So that's about medium high heat. You don't want it to be too high when you put your cheese and stuff in. You don't want your cheese burnt. So I'm just putting in my squeezy cheese. And if you don't get all the cheese out the packet, don't stress yourself, because we're adding other ingredients and other cheeses in there that'll make up for the lack. So you saw I wasn't even stressing about getting all that cheese out, because I mean, get as much as you can out. You don't want to waste money now, but we're gonna stir that. Now I'm going to put in my cream of chicken. Not using a lot. Just a spoonful. We're gonna stir that in. No, it's a weird ingredient, y'all, but I trust my judgment. We're gonna put a little bit of garlic powder. That's it. That's literally it. So now we're gonna move over to the countertop. Okay. Here are our noodles, and here is our greased up pan. We're gonna dump that all in there. Off camera, I added about 1/4 cup of 5 blend Italian cheese into the cheese sauce. And I just did that off camera. We're gonna pour all that good cheese sauce right over these noodles. And it's okay if it's juicy. We want it like that. When I season my macaroni, I don't add any salt or anything, or any seasoning salt or anything like that, because the cheese, I put so much cheese and like dairy products and stuff in it that it doesn't need any of that. Like, and then that processed cheese that be in the box macaroni is already salty. Like, you just don't need all that salt and sodium in there. I mean, if that's your preference, you can do so, but it's just too much for me and my family. I mean, you can add a sprinkle. I understand the sprinkle, but and I just used 1 whole bag of creamy milk triple cheddar, and I'm going into my second bag. Not gonna use the entire second bag, just covering up the places where I got some little holes at. All right, now I'm just gonna add some paprika on top for the color. And you'll see how it looks once it comes out the oven. And I'm gonna show y'all the cabbage as well. Then I'm gonna put some nice, cute little parsley on top. This can go in the oven on 415 degrees or 350. It just depends on you. I'm gonna pop mine in at 415 until the cheese melts, and we're calling it a day. Y'all, that is everything. Meatloaf, mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, our veggie, and I'm gonna do a separate video on the cake.